there guys, I'm Kelly Jackson, Classroom Organization and Management Coach from the Simply Organized Teacher, and I am here today to share with you 5 ways to have an organized classroom. Okay, here's the deal. Most people when they do these things, they start with tip number 5 and then they work back to number 1. But for me, I'm gonna start with my number 1 tip because without the number 1 tip, I feel like you can't go anywhere. So let me guess, you're probably here because you need some help organizing your classroom. I get it. It's a struggle and it's something we don't have time for. So I'm gonna give you 5 quick tips that you can do tomorrow to help get your classroom organized. So my number 1 tip is to give everything a home. Yep, you heard me. Everything in your classroom needs a home and needs a spot to go. That is the most important thing I can tell you. What I mean by everything needs a home is you need to have a place for every single thing. When you have papers coming in from the office, you need a place for those to go. You need a spot for your lesson plans to live. You need a spot for your pens and your pencils and your scissors. You need a spot for everything to live. You need a place where you put electrical cords. You need a place where you put your sentence strips. You need a place for everything and you need to always put it there. So your first thing you need to do is you need to find a home for everything. And if it doesn't have a home, you need to give it a home. Tip number 2, you need to organize your cabinets. And I know, I just told you probably the most terrible thing I could tell you. But guys, here's the deal. If you don't have organized cabinets, you're not gonna have an organized classroom. Why? Because the inside is just a representation of what's going on outside. So if your cabinets are a hot mess, I guarantee your classroom is kind of messy too. So start with 1 cabinet. Organize it, give everything a home. If you don't need it, haven't used it in the last year, toss it, get rid of it. I promise you're not gonna miss it. Remember my tip number 1, everything needs a home? This is why everything needs a home, because now in your cabinets, everything is gonna have a home. Okay, tip number 3, you need lots of bins. Lots and lots and lots and lots of bins. Whether they're old shoe boxes, whether they're cardboard boxes that your Amazon order came in. It doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be cute, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to have a bin and be a box that you can put stuff in. The reason is, if you have boxes and bins for everything, then everything has a home. You have a home for all your glue sticks, you have a home for all your markers, you have a home for all your scissors, you have a big bin for all of your indoor recess games, you have another bin for all of your magazines. Everything needs a home. Remember, this is why tip number 1 was everything needs a home. Because number 3 is you need bins, so everything has a home. All right guys, tip number 4, we're over halfway there. All of your papers need a routine. So what I mean by that is you need a home, remember tip number 1, you need a home and a routine for any papers that come in from the office. You need a home and a routine for all of your lesson plan papers. You need a routine and a home for your papers that the kids turn in, and then when they come back to you, and then whenever you're trying to hand them out to take them home, you need routines for all of that. And lucky for you, I've already written a whole blog post about that. So you can go to my website, The Simply Organized Teacher, and just up in the top right corner, search for paper routines or something like that. It'll come up and you can read about how I organize my papers, like when they turn them in, and then how I get them back to them. Here we go, tip number 5, last one. You need a place to write everything down. One place to keep notes, to keep everything that's going on up here, one place to keep it all. So what I do is I've got one notepad right in front of it's right on top of my computer desktop, and that is where any idea that comes to mind, anything I need to do, I just jot it down there so that way if I'm in the middle of teaching, oh no, I need to go to the office and get this, I write it down there to remind myself, because you know teacher brain, you've got a million things going on in your mind all day long. You're not gonna remember. Write it down in one spot so that you can come back to it. All right guys, I'm coming in with a bonus tip. This is tip number 6. You need a planning routine. So what I mean by that is you need a routine for each day during your conference and after school. Now, you're not always gonna stick to it because you're gonna have meetings come up or you're gonna have other things you need to do. But what I've done is I have created a template or a plan of how I'm gonna spend each conference and each time after school. That way I work in time to create my lesson plans. I work in time to prep for the upcoming week. I work in time to work on my student council extracurricular club that I am an advisor for. So sit down, write out everything you need to do, and then go through and make just a quick little spreadsheet. Monday, during conference, I'm gonna do this. Monday after school, I'm gonna do this. Again, you're not always gonna stick to it, and that's okay, but at least you have a plan. Okay guys, so that's it. 5 tips, well actually 6 tips, for how to organize your classroom. I hope these are helpful, and I hope that you can go and implement them tomorrow. And remember, tip number 1, biggest rule, everything needs a home. Thanks for watching. You can find more at my website, thesimplyorganizedteacher.com.